What if I told you some of the world's biggest companies will literally pay you cash just for owning a tiny piece of them? Well, that's not some crazy hypothetical. That's exactly how dividends work. And today, we're going to break it all down.
I mean, think about it for a second. It's a really powerful idea, right? Instead of just crossing your fingers and hoping a stock's price goes up, you could actually get a steady stream of cash coming in. That's the whole magic of dividend-paying stocks.
All right, so let's start at square one. What in the world is a dividend anyway?
At its core, it's actually pretty simple. When you own a share of a company, you're a part owner. So when that company does well and makes a profit, it can decide to share a slice of that pie with its owners, you. And that payment, that's the dividend.
Okay, so let's follow the money trail. It all starts right here. A successful company sells its products or services, it manages its costs well, and at the end of the day, there's money left over. That's profit. Now, the folks at the top have a choice to make. They could pour all that profit back into the business to build new factories or hire more people, or they can decide to give some of it back to their shareholders as a thank you. And this is where it gets really cool for you. That chunk of the profit lands right in your brokerage account as cold, hard cash, all because you own the stock. You are literally getting paid just to be an owner. And don't think of this as just some small bonus. It's actually one of the two main ways a stock can make you money. As the experts at BlackRock point out, you can win if the stock price goes up, or you can get paid directly through dividends. Now here's a really important point. Not every company does this. You've got your young, fast-growing companies that are all gas, no brakes. They plow every single penny back into growing the business. Then you have your more mature, stable companies, the ones that are already big and consistently profitable. They're the ones who typically share the wealth.
So that kind of begs the question, right? If a company can use all that money to get even bigger, why on earth would it just give it away? Let's dig into the why.
Well, there are a few really smart reasons. First, it's a direct reward for the people who believed in the company and invested in it. Second, it's like a giant billboard that says, hey, we're doing great. We're so confident in our future that we can afford to share. And finally, it attracts a certain kind of investor, someone who's in it for the long haul.
And in practice, it's usually pretty straightforward. These payments are almost always cash, deposited right into your investment account. For most US and Canadian companies, you can expect to see that happen 4 times a year, like clockwork.
Okay, so we know what they are and why they exist. But how can you tell a good dividend from a bad one? How do we measure this stuff? Let's get into the how.
The most common number you'll see is the dividend yield. It sounds fancy, but all it is a percentage. It answers a simple question. For every $100 I invest in this stock, how many dollars will I get back in dividends this year? It just makes it super easy to compare different stocks.
And that yield can be all over the map. Steady, reliable industries like utilities often have pretty high yields. But then you've got the high-flying tech world, where yields are usually way lower if they even exist at all because they're reinvesting everything for growth.
So the natural next thought is, awesome, I'll just hunt down the highest yield I can find. But hang on a second. Is a bigger number always better?
Not so fast. To really understand the health of a dividend, we need to look under the hood at something called the payout ratio. All this tells us is what percentage of the company's total profits are being used to pay that dividend. It's like a financial stress test.
And here's the bottom line. A crazy high payout ratio, like 80 or 90%, can be a huge red flag. It means the company is walking a tightrope with almost no money left over for a rainy day. That juicy dividend might look great now, but it might not be sustainable. Now we've saved the best for last. This is the most powerful part of the whole dividend story. It's not just about getting the cash, it's about what you do with it next. We're talking about the magic of compounding. See, when you reinvest your dividends, you're not just taking the cash and spending it. You're using it to buy more shares. And those new shares, well, they start earning their own dividends. It's a snowball effect that can totally supercharge your growth over time.
Just look at the difference this can make. If you invested 10 grand and just let it grow for 20 years, you would end up with a very respectable $29,000. But if you reinvested the dividends along the way, look at that second bar. You're now at almost $39,000.
That is more than $9,000 in extra money. And that didn't come from you saving more. That was your money's money all working for you, thanks to the quiet power of reinvesting.
And you know what the best part is? You can put this whole thing on autopilot. Pretty much every brokerage has something called a dividend reinvestment plan, or just DRIP for short. You flip a switch, and this amazing compounding machine just runs itself.
So to bring it all home, that's what dividends are. They're a real, tangible return on your ownership. They can be a steady source of income, and when you put them back to work, they can become an absolute powerhouse for growth.
From turning ownership into income to fueling incredible growth through reinvestment, dividends are a key part of the investing puzzle.